Honorable Dr. Moses Masika Wetangula, making his way into the chamber to preside over this afternoon sitting. I will now be handing you over to this particular business for you to follow. A broadcast that is brought to you by PBU in partnership with KBC. Good afternoon.
Mheshimiwa, tuombe. Ewe Mwenyezi Mungu ambaye kwa hekima na wema wako umeteua nyadhifa za viongozi na mabunge kwa ustawi wa jamii na utawala wa haki wanadamu, tukusihi utazame kwa neema nyingi sisi watumishi wako ambao wameridhika kutuita ili tutekeleze shughuli muhimu za jamhuri yetu. Tunakuomba uteremshie baraka zako sisi tuliokutanika hapa, na utujalie tuyatende na kufikiria mambo yote yatakayofikishwa mbele yetu kwa njia ya haki na uaminifu, ili utukufu na sifa zako siendelezwe, na ili kustawisha amani, ufanisi na heri ya nchi yetu na wale ambao hajasawa wamesikabidhi mikononi mwetu. Amen. Sergeant, ring the quorum bell.
The House is about to commence its business. However, there is a quorum hitch. Much as the prayer has been said and the chair taken, pursuant to provisions of the House Standing Order number 34, that if the quorum is not present, at least 50 members are not present inside the House, then that would mean that the House is not quorated yet for it to be able to commence its sitting. And therefore, that would mean that a quorum bell be rung for 10 minutes, just to give an allowance, as well as alert the members who may be within the precincts of Parliament that the House is having a quorum hitch and that their presence inside the chamber is highly required. And so they might or may hasten their steps to join their colleagues already in the chamber. As that bell is on, we shall continue to take a look at the business that the members this afternoon, as they convene, will be transacting. The Election Offences Bill 2024, Amendment Bill 2024, seeks to amend the Election Offences Act, specifically Section 6 of the Election Offences Act 2016, and also to give effect to recommendations and views of the public that were submitted during the National Dialogue Discourse on the issues of electoral justice and related matters, outstanding constitutional matters, fidelity to political parties or coalitions, and the law on multi-party democracy, entrenchment of the National Government Constituency Development Fund, Senate Oversight Fund, and the National Government Affirmative Action Fund, and establishment and entrenchment of state offices. So this is a bill that its debate was already done comprehensively or conclusively on the floor of the House. It's a bill that is at its second reading stage. And a question will this afternoon be put again. This follows a procedural motion to rectify an error that was done, to rescind on a decision that was done on Thursday, 24th of July, 2025, regarding the second reading of the Election Offences Amendment Bill, a bill originating from the Senate. This afternoon, also pursuant to provisions of Standing Order 44, paragraph 2C, There are statements that were sought by members, various members, and this afternoon, the relevant committees will be responding to these statements. One of the statements is the one that was sought by the Honorable Member for Kirinyaga County, Honorable Njeri Maina, regarding the increasing incidences of human trafficking in Kenya. And this is a statement that was forwarded to the Administration and Internal Security Committee. So this afternoon, in the order of business for the members of the National Assembly, this particular statement that was sought will be responded to by regarding the disappearance of Mr. Abdi Rizak Mohammed Yule that was sought by the Honorable Member Umulher Harun, nominated member. This is also a statement that the Committee on Administration and Internal Security will be responding to this afternoon. If you're just joining us, is that the House is about to commence its sitting. A quorum hitch is currently facing the House in terms of it being able to commence its sitting until that quorum is present as provided for in the House Standing Order 34. It is a House of Rules and thereby has to adhere to its own rules. So that is a quorum bell currently on. Once the quorum is achieved, then we shall be handing you over back to the business. Let's listen into the speaker.
Clerk.
Order number 1, administration of oath. Order number 2, communication from the chair. Order number 3, messages. Order number 4, petitions. Order number 5, papers.
Majority Leader.
Thank you, my Speaker. Thank you very much for this opportunity to present papers. Honorable Speaker, I beg to lay the following papers on the table of the House today, Wednesday, July 30th, 2025, in the afternoon. Honorable Speaker, I want to start with the reports of the Auditor General and financial statements of Total Technical and Vocational College for the year ended 30th June 2022, 30th June 2023, and 30th June 2024, and the certificates therein. 2, Auditor General's summary report on donor-funded projects for the financial year 2023-2024. 3, 2024 annual status report on water, sanitation, and irrigation from the Ministry of Water. Financial statements for the year ended 30th June 2024 and certificates therein in respect of 1, Gilgil Technical and Vocational College, 2, Kathiani Girls High School, 3, Njoro Technical Training Institute, and 4, St. Michael Kaba High School. I thank you, Honorable Speaker, and I beg to lay.
Thank you, Chairperson, Departmental Committee on Health. Disband that Kamkunji and go on to business.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Honourable Speaker, I beg to lay the following paper on the table of the House today, Wednesday, 30th July 2025. A report of the Departmental Committee on Health on the consideration of the President's memorandum to the Cancer Prevention and Control Amendments, Bill number 2, National Assembly Bill number 45 of 2022. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you. Next order. Yes, Shakil.
Honorable Speaker, sir, I had requested for a notice of motion, and I don't see that it may be registered here.
On what issue?
It's on the expression of concern on the Middle East conflict.
I thought it was a statement.
Well, yes, it was actually...
It was not a motion.
It was advised as a motion, but I can make the statement, sir.
I allowed you to make a statement.
Can I please make it a statement, sir?
Not now. We have not reached statements. Take your seat. I'll alert you when we get there. Next.
Order number 6, notices of motion. Order number 7, questions and statements.
Honorable members, will skip order number 7 for now, dispose of orders number 9. Yeah? Is 8? Honorable members, first, today we're expecting the Minister for Internal Security or for Interior. He's written to the Speaker requesting to be excused because he's on urgent national duties elsewhere. The Speaker has acceded to his request. So I'll direct the majority leadership to have him here next Wednesday. So those members with questions to Interior on matters security and others, be available to prosecute your issues on Wednesday next week. Secondly, we will dispose of orders 8, 9, and 10. Order 8 is very straightforward. The House was misled by one enthusiastic member to cast a negative vote on an ADCO bill, which was a consensual bill, having passed, I think, in the other House as well. It was brought to the House Business Committee, and a motion to rescind the resolution of the House was approved. I expect that to be moved, seconded, and disposed of. Then after that, we'll go to questions and statements. Not questions to the Minister, but any other questions. Before that, also allow me to acknowledge in the Speaker's Gallery, Manyora Secondary School from Subukia, Nakuru. When you are mentioned, you stand up, students, to be acknowledged. Thank you. Take your seats. Katakala Secondary School from Narok, North Narok. Thank you. In the public gallery, SEK St. Luke Primary from Chesumei, Nandi. Coast Central Adventist School from Muvita, Mombasa. Kapche Protwa Liberty Academy from Konoin, Bomet. I have been asked by the member for Chesumei to take a minute to welcome the school from his constituency. You can do so for the rest of the schools so that we don't duplicate the efforts of the House. Give him the mic. Give the mic to Polo. He's standing and you're putting elsewhere. There you are, next to you.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for giving me this golden opportunity. However, the students in the public gallery have been taken out. I don't know why, so I'm not very sure whether the students...
You can acknowledge them in absentia.
All right, thank you. Thank you so much, Mr. Speaker. Let me welcome the students from Chesumei to the House, the 13th Parliament, and tell them welcome. Let them work hard so that they can also be members at some point. And all the other students who are visiting Parliament This is a house of records. This is a house of leaders, and you're the leaders for tomorrow. So congratulations that you have all come. I'm aware that there is St. Luke's Biribiriet. I'm aware that there is PAG Jerusalem, and I'm also aware that Kapsabet Girls High School also are on their way here, and also Isidore Kombe from my constituency. However, all the students, you are welcomed. Thank you so much. Feel free and watch the proceedings. You'll be leaders for tomorrow. Thank you.
On my behalf, yes, member for Nyando, what is it?
Honorable Speaker, I just wanted to acknowledge your generosity. Last week and this week, we have had so many children coming to be attending our proceedings. And I hope, Honorable Speaker, that this kind of generation which you are helping mold today through such kinds of visits and tours will have a paradigm shift on the conduct of what we can see now and what we expect in future generations. So this is a testament, Honorable Speaker, that you really love the children. Just as Christ said, let the children come to me. You have given them an opportunity to come and see what is happening here. Today I was walking in town, Honorable Speaker, and I could see lots of schools within town. And when I prodded them to know what they were doing in town, they said, we have a date with Parliament in the afternoon. And Honorable Speaker, this is a step in the right direction. And I hope these children will, as they take over from us 30 years from now, that they will emulate the conduct of the current members of Parliament and not the conduct of the other generation out there. And I thank you, Honorable Speaker.
In fact, yesterday alone, this house was visited by 60 schools. Shabir, I'm told, actually yours is a motion, and it was balloted, so I'll come back to you to give notice of that motion. Go to order number 8.
Order number 8, motion, rescission of a resolution of the House.
Okay. Owen Bayer.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, they need to pay me for doing their job.
They need
to be waniangalie vizuri as they do their job.
Which job?
The majority whip and the minority whip.
I pay you a salary for doing what you are doing.
for the leader of majority. Honorable Speaker, pursuant to the provision of Standing Order 49.2a, this House resolves to rescind its decision of Thursday, 24th July 2025, with respect to the second reading of the Elections Offence Amendment Bill number 2, Senate Bill number 28 of 2024. Honorable Speaker, like you aptly put it, Honorable Speaker, this is in regards to the motion on election offences, for which, Honorable Speaker, a decision was supposed to be put and a question was put, but like you said, there was someone misled the House to make a decision that actually was not what members intended to do. Honorable Speaker, because Standing Order 49 allows us to actually rescind a decision, Honorable Speaker, we come before you and before this House to request the members to agree to this procedural motion that we rescind this decision so that, Honorable, we can, Speaker, we can move on. Honorable Speaker, if you allow me, I'll request the Honorable Mabona to second this motion. It's a procedural motion. We take a vote and then move to 9 so that we can make progress, Honorable Speaker. I thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, thank you for giving me this opportunity, and I wish to second the motion and indicate, Mr. Speaker, that we have multiple roles, and sometimes when you are overwhelmed, it becomes very difficult to stay focused. And so this gives members an opportunity to relook at the issues that we've done, and especially because these are issues that relate to NADCO, that the country has been challenging us, especially those working around the broad-based issues and our 10-point agenda. And one of them is the issue of the NADCO report. And Mr. Speaker, therefore, I'm even glad that we have more than enough quorum so that members can very soberly and consciously look at the issues that we are dealing, especially around electoral laws. Thank you, and I second.
Thank you. Member on his feet, take your seat. Patrick Macau, Commissioner, take your seat. Carolo Mondi, what is it?
Honorable Speaker, I was just wondering, because I'm hearing a lot of talk about NADCO report.
About?
NADCO report, and that we are supposed to adopt it. But the reality is there are a lot of illegalities in that report, constitutional illegalities, that we need to debate. We can't just be chaperoned to adopt it.
In fact, that is the more reason why you should support this motion so that the bill comes back and you can debate it.
But if it had been rejected?
Yes, Millie?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, very reluctantly wish to educate my classmate from primary school to the university. And my neighbor in Suba North is in Suba South and Suba North, because he's talking broadly about a report. The report was actually then looking at various amendments. So we are not talking about the report in overall. We are talking about specific issues in regard to the report. So you are going to be given an opportunity to look at each issue on the NADCO report as they arise, so that we are not choir members singing without music. Some of us are excellent dancers, and even people have been accusing me to dance, that I danced before Farouk Kibet. Mr. Speaker, me, I dance. Even I was suspended in Form 2 for dancing. The first time I was ever suspended in school. In the high school, I was suspended for dancing in the library. So I want to just inform Honorable Karoli that be vigilant. It is good that the standing order gives us an opportunity to relook and be keen and be vigilant, as smart as I am.
I have not proposed the question. Let me propose the question. Merely, I confirm that you also danced before me at a funeral. I now propose the question, which is that pursuant to the provisions of Standing Order 49-2A, this House resolves to rescind its decision of Thursday, 24th July 2025, with respect to the second reading of the Election Offences Amendment Number 2 Bill, Senate Bill Number 28 of 2024. Majority, you want to say something?
Honorable Speaker, allow me, Honorable Speaker, to just make a small contribution in regard to this matter, and to thank the Minority Whip for informing her neighbor and classmate, the Honorable Karoli Omondi. First, that it's true, it is not the NADCO report that we are voting on. We voted on the NADCO report last year, and it was adopted by both houses. And consequential to that adoption, there are certain legislative proposals that were in this House and others in the Senate. This is one such legislative proposal, the Election Offences Bill, that was initiated in the Senate. They passed it, and it came here for concurrence, and we debated it last week. I think Honorable Karoli Omondi last week was very busy in the constituency, and he may have missed that opportunity. But as a Deputy Leader of Minority, I said, inadvertently, last week, another bill in the Senate, which was to be rejected. So members were, and therefore inadvertently rejected this bill, which we intend to proceed, and that is why we are rescinding that decision of the House in line with the Standing Order 49-2A. That allows us an opportunity to be able to rescind a decision which, as the case was here, was inadvertently passed by the House. And therefore, I want to plead to members that we support this procedural motion so that we go to the order number 9, where we'll now make the right decision in affirming and passing this bill to proceed to the Committee of the Whole House later. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Having been our contribution, I invite the mover to reply.
I'd like to urge members to pass this because this is a procedural motion, and because it is a procedural motion that is meant to do something very important and fundamental that's before this House, Honorable Speaker, I urge that members vote for this procedural motion and remove.
Order, members on their feet, take your seats. Honorable Order, Mawade, freeze. Of Standing Order 49-2A, the second reading of the Electoral Offences Amendment Number 2 Bill, Senate Bill Number 28 of 2024. As members of that opinion say aye. Aye. Will those of the contrary?
Number 9, the Election Offences Amendment Number 2 Bill, Senate Bill Number 28 of 2024, second reading. Question to be put.
Yes. Members on their feet, take your seats. Take the nearest seat. Kizairo, where is your nearest seat? First, consequent upon your decision at order number 8, question, which is that the Election Offences Amendment Number 2 Bill, Senate Bill Number 28 of 2024, be now read a second time. As members of that opinion say aye. Aye. Will those of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. Next.
A bill for an act of parliament to amend the Election Offences Act. Order number 10, motion, approve. National Assembly Bill number 70 of 2023.
Order, members. Order, Major, take your seat. Freeze where you are. Honorable members, I now put the question at order number 10, which is that pursuant to the provisions of Article 113(2) of the Constitution and Standing Order 153, this House adopts the report of the Mediation Committee on the Gambling Control Bill, National Assembly Bill number 7 of 2023, laid on the table of the House on Tuesday, sorry, honorable members, these clerks at the table are misleading the speaker. They told me we were putting the question, I'm told it's for debate. So we rescind that, go back to number 7. First, go back to number 6, invite the member for Kisumu Town East to give his notice of motion.
Order number 6, notices of motion.
Mr. Speaker, sir, I beg to give notice of the following motion as an expression of concern on the Middle East conflict, that aware that among the rights enshrined in the United Nations Charter on Human Rights is the right to life and self-determination by the people. Cognizant of the fact that the Israeli occupation of Palestine territory in Gaza and the West Bank has been characterized by disproportionate and indiscriminate use of force. Concerned that this has deepened the humanitarian crisis in the region, including destruction of infrastructure, while widespread civilian casualties, and willful killing of Palestinian civilians, including children, in the occupied territories by the Israeli army. Noting that these grave breaches amount to war crimes, flagrant violations of international humanitarian law, and crimes against humanity. Concerned that the recent escalation of hostilities between Israel and Iran, including cross-border strikes and retaliatory attacks, threatens to engulf the wider Middle East region in conflict. Recalling that Kenya has previously suffered attacks on its soil as a result of Middle East conflict, including the 2002 attack on the Paradise Hotel in Kampala. Appreciating that the United Nations, as General of Palestine territories and urging concluding the regional powers and the United Nations Security Council to intensify diplomatic efforts aimed at achieving an immediate ceasefire, facilitating humanitarian access, initiating inclusive peace negotiations in the Middle East. Appreciative of the role of Kenya has played constituting crimes against humanity created by Israel. This House, 1, expresses concern over the dangerous escalation of hostilities in the Middle East that has threatened international peace and security across the Middle East and beyond. Reaffirms Kenya's proactive commitment to peaceful resolution of disputes through negotiation, diplomacy, and adherence to the principles of United Nations Charter. Urges all parties to the conflict to protect civilian lives and infrastructure in accordance with the Geneva Convention and the international humanitarian law, to exercise maximum restraint and immediately cease further acts of aggression, including aerial bombardments, missile strikes, and other form of military escalation, and calls on the international community, including the United Nations and the regional powers, to intensify diplomatic efforts aimed at de-escalating and restoration of dialogue and the return to the frameworks of international law. I thank you, Honorable Speaker, sir.
Thank you, Honorable Shakil. We'll now go to order number 7.
Order number 7, questions and statements.
Honorable members, before we go to statements, allow me to acknowledge, because of the large volume of students visiting Parliament, some I may call out who have left. In the Speaker's Gallery, Keringate Primary School from Kuresoi South, Nakuru. In the Public Gallery, Father Toblino Academy from North Hor, Marsabit. Marigu B Primary School from Subukia, Nakuru. Kathera Primary School from South Imenti, Meru. Luak Girls Comprehensive School from Rarieda, Siaya. Mutongwi Comprehensive School from Kitui West, Kitui. Kamirithu Primary School from Limuru, Kiambu. I've been asked by the Honorable Otienda Molo to give him 1 minute to welcome Luak Girls. In the process, welcome all the schools present.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I take this opportunity to welcome pupils from Luak Girls Primary and Comprehensive School, as well as all the other schools that have been mentioned, to this august house. Mr. Speaker, I want the pupils to know that this house is the premier entity that shapes this country. And I want them to know that in life, life is defined by respect, by hard work, and the fear of God. And that as long as you inculcate all three, you will go places, whether it's in this house or in other areas of life. Mr. Speaker, Lua Girls is a very old and prominent girls' school that has produced many, many people who have shaped the life in this country. In the last year's exams, they emerged #1 in the whole of Luak County. And that despite a tragedy that befell them. One of their dormitories burnt down to ashes, but fortunately it did not injure any of the girls because of the good precautions that the school takes. Mr. Speaker, I welcome them here. I urge them to work hard. And the fact, Mr. Speaker, that there are upwards of 60 schools that come to this August House is actually testament that Parliament is still respected in this country. But it also means that we as members of Parliament must remember that respect and behave accordingly. But Mr. Speaker, on a different note, in the earlier motion, you had said there's a member who had misled the House. Mr. Speaker, misleading the House is against the standing orders, and it is punishable. Mr. Speaker, I thought you would mention who that member is and then punish accordingly. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Member for Siaya, Christine Ombaka, I give you 1 minute.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for giving me this opportunity to greet the students from Luak Girls.
You don't greet them, you acknowledge their presence.
I acknowledge their presence, and I want to encourage them and tell them that the sky is the limit. Anybody can reach anywhere. I never knew that I would be in Parliament myself, and they should also realize that they can be in this house in future. I know that Luak has a good name as a school. It is one of the best national schools that we have ever had. The results are always very good, and I want to tell them that a lot of them can come here and be politicians, apart from being in other professions. You are welcome to, I acknowledge your presence, and please continue to come here to see the debate that is generated here, and how you too, in the schools where you carry out debates, you can emulate what is going on here. Thank you, and we shall see you at the end of the day. Thank you.
Thank you. Statements. The first one, member for Suna West, Peter Masara, to make a personal statement regarding the demise of his son. And we give you, like we did, our collective condolences.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, pursuant to provision of Standing Order number 442E, I wish to make a personal statement regarding the untimely passing of my beloved son, Hilary Masese. Mr. Speaker, no parent is ever truly prepared.
Raise your voice a bit.
No parent is ever truly prepared to bury a child. The death of my son unsettled a sacred order of life, leaving behind a gap that no word can truly fill. Hilary Masese was not only my dear son, but a friend. To many, and a light to our family. Where the loss was deeply personal, the grief was widely shared. I felt that I did not walk this painful journey of 10 months and 17 days visiting ICU alone. Members of Parliament visited, called, prayed, and stood with me. I was comforted by the warmth, the solidarity, and the compassion extended to me and my family. Was comforted the warmth and solidarity and compassion that extended to me by my colleagues in the Honorable House, friends across the country, Hillary's colleagues at Kenyatta National Hospital, and the people whom I have the honor of serving, the great people of Sona West. Even as we continue to mourn Hillary's passing, we also celebrate his life. I take solace in knowing that he now rests in eternal peace. Honorable Speaker, I take this opportunity to sincerely thank each one of you who stood with me and my family, those who visited, called, contributed in one way or the other towards the dignified send-off of Hillary. I also wish to acknowledge the strong support from the people of my constituency, colleagues, neighbors, friends, the business community, and religious leaders who relied around me. I must sincerely thank this House for offering me the shoulder to lean on at my hour of need, led by the Right Honorable Speaker himself, the honorable members of the National Assembly, and the senators. The emotional, physical, and generous financial support are the reason I stand strong before you today. Honorable Speaker, I cannot fail to thank the religious leaders from all denominations who stood with my family in prayers and spiritual support. Though Hillary's time with us was brief, his impact was lasting. I stand before this House today stronger because of the kindness extended to my family. For every call, every visit, every prayer, every contribution, I say thank you. May Masese's soul rest in eternal peace. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And by extension, I want to thank our whips who were really mobilized members for contribution. Honorable Ivo Bara, Honorable Pasaris, Honorable Elachi, Honorable Suda, and my committee members, the Committee of Budget Committee and Committee of Administration and Internal Security, and all members. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and let Hillary's soul rest in peace. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Peter Masara. Next, Ibrahim Sane.
Honorable Speaker, pursuant to the provisions of Standing Order 44-2C, I rise to request for a statement from the Chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Administration and Internal Security regarding disappearance of Mr. Hussein Abdirahman Mohammed. Honorable Speaker, Mr. Hussein Abdirahman Mohammed of ID number 2672739 is a resident of Wajir County and was serving as the manager of Wajir Huduma Center. He disappeared on Tuesday, 8th July 2025, having been last seen attending an official function presided over by the Cabinet Secretary for Public Service and Human Capital Development. Since the event, he has never returned home, and despite numerous efforts by his family to trace or contact him, his whereabouts remain unknown to date. This unexplained disappearance has caused great anxiety among his family members, colleagues, and the wider community. He was a dedicated and committed civil servant. Therefore, his sudden absence raises concern and alarm across the constituency. Honorable Speaker, it is against this background that I request for a statement from the Chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Administration and Internal Security on the following. 1, a report on the status of investigations into the disappearance of Mr. Hussein Abdirahman Mohammed. 2, the measures taken by the government to ensure that Mr. Hussein Abdirahman Mohammed is found and reunited with his family. And finally, the steps being taken to enhance the safety and security of residents in Wajir North constituency including measures by security agencies to promptly investigate and resolve cases of missing persons. I thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Kainan, you want to joyride?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, Mr. Hussein, I want to thank the Honorable Senate for bringing this statement. The Speaker, Mr. Hussein Abdurrahman, who is also nicknamed Hussein Moy, is a manager or was a manager of Wajir Huduma Center, very senior officer. Mr. Speaker, to date, almost a month, even the ministry, the line ministry, the department, and all the other concerned individuals in the government have not even attempted to brief the public. Mr. Speaker, in addition to the statement by the Honorable Senate, allow me also to request the chairman, Mr. Speaker, because he's a very senior public servant. Mr. Speaker, we do not know the circumstance. The last time he was seen is when he reported to work, and yet, Mr. Speaker, the Ministry of Public Works, the Ministry of Public Service, the Public Service Commission, the Huduma Directorate, none of these entities have made an attempt even to say this is what they are trying to look at, Mr. Speaker. Meaning, therefore, it's like an assumption has been made. Mr. Speaker, I want to request the chairman, in addition to the statement here, to find out the report that has been made by the family in Wajir, whether that report has been investigated, and if it has been investigated, is it the Wajir police? Is it the Wajir CID? Is it the CID headquarters here? And what is the summary investigation of this officer who has been missing, Mr. Speaker? Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Jeho, 1 minute.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I want to add my voice to this particular issue. We are missing a particular officer who works for the government, a very senior officer, Mr. Speaker. We feel like the police are not doing their work. Mr. Speaker, we are asking the police officers, the authorities involved, to bring this particular person, whether dead or alive. Thank you.
Tongoyo.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, you quite understand that we have a backlog of many unresponded statements. And given the urgency of the matter, I know this is a civil servant who's gone missing in Wajir, and this is the county that we still had the MCA who disappeared or got missed for quite some time. I may not give a comprehensive, Honorable Speaker, but maybe, Honorable Speaker, if you will allow, you give me maybe on Thursday to do a preliminary one as we wait a comprehensive respond. Thursday, next week. Yes.
Thank you. There's 1 or 2 members. Naisula, who approached the chair. Naisula.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise on a point of order. I had asked a statement to the chairperson of Energy in regards to frequent blackouts in Maralal Town, Samburu West constituency, Mr. Speaker. That was before we went on recess. As we speak now, there is no electricity in Maralal for the last 2 days, Mr. Speaker. And even today when it has come back, there's low voltage. Mr. Speaker, I would like the chairperson of Energy to respond to that statement and to take this matter very seriously, because the people of Maralal deserve to have electricity and frequently. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Chair, Energy. Any member from that committee? Majority Leader? There's a protestation from Naisula that she requested for a statement on incessant blackouts in Maralal that has never been responded to for a little while. Can you instruct the chairman of Energy to bring a response on Wednesday morning?
Yes, Honorable Speaker, I'm aware the chairman and the vice chair were engaged in another meeting with the ministry, both Gekaria and Honorable Aramat, and I will get that information to them.
Thank you.
Speaker, for that direction, and also Majority Leader for that commitment. But which Wednesday? Tomorrow?
Wednesday. Today is Wednesday.
So, no, I wanted today. Later.
Today we have already, I said Wednesday morning. We're definitely past morning. So it's next Wednesday morning, Naisula. Yes, Honorable Kenyan.
Mr. Speaker, I also requested for a statement from the chairperson of the Committee on Blue Economy, Water and Irrigation, sometimes back on 9th April, Mr. Speaker. And
on
today,
9th?
April,
yes,
this year. It's quite some times. And this was a very important issue, Mr. Speaker, regarding the status of water and sewerage system in Wajir town. And Mr. Speaker, you are aware, we are the only county that use bucket latrines donated to us by the Italian war prisoners, Mr. Speaker, Second World War prisoners in 1939. I really want to plead with the chairman to give us an answer, however difficult it might be, and I know it's very difficult, to bring an answer as soon as possible.
Chairman, Water and Blue Economy, any member? Any member of Water and Blue Economy, Majority Leader? Similarly, tell Honorable Kangoko Bowen to bring a response to Kenyan on Wednesday morning next week.
Most obliged.
Honorable members, allow me to acknowledge in the Speaker's Gallery Transcend High School from Cherangany in Nandi. I didn't know there is Cherangany in Nandi. Clerk, is this correct? Cherangany is in Trans Nzoia. So you've written Cherangany Nandi. Be that as it may, Transcend High School from Cherangany, Kaundu Secondary School from Mwingi North Kitui, and in the public gallery, Omama Academy from Bobasi, Kisii, and Kipletito Comprehensive School from Aldai, Nandi. On my behalf and on behalf of the House, we welcome the students, their teachers, and those accompanying them to the House of Parliament. Next order. Yes, Gonzarai.
Statement which was supposed to be responded by the Chairman, Interior.
We still, sorry. You heard?
A statement which was supposed to be responded by Chairman of Interior about the abduction of Charomai, 16th of July, 2024.
Interior Chair, are you ready?
Speaker, I did commit to give a preliminary one tomorrow, Thursday.
Tomorrow?
Yes.
Okay.
So we are still within time.
So Gonzarai will be here tomorrow. Njeri Maina. Order, Njeri, you can't do that. While Njeri is finding her way, Omulher Harun. Yeah. Yes. Tongoyo, these are responses. Are you ready for Njeri?
Yeah, Honorable Speaker, I'm ready.
And Umulher?
Yeah, I do.
So go ahead, give Njeri's first. Njeri, take your seat and be orderly and listen to your response.
It's a long one, but I'll try to rush through. Honorable Speaker, the Honorable Member for Kirinyaga, Honorable Jane Njeri, had sought a response, a statement regarding incidents of human trafficking in the country, and in particular, he wanted to know measures put in place by the government to strengthen the enforcement and operationalization of the Counter Trafficking in Person Act, including and plan to address the emerging gaps in legislation, policy, and implementation. Secondly, action taken to safeguard Kenya's porous borders to curb the entry and exit of human traffickers and their victims. And thirdly, to safeguards established to ensure the safety and the well-being of Kenyans seeking employment opportunities abroad. Honorable Speaker, I respond as follows. In question number 1, Honorable Speaker, the following measures have been put in place to strengthen enforcement and operationalization of the Counter Trafficking in Person Act 2010. The National Police Service actively monitors recruitment agency to prevent their involvement in the human trafficking in collaboration with the Ministry of Labor and the National Employment Authority. The frequent inspections are done to ensure all agencies operate in compliance with established legal and ethical standards. The NPS established the Anti-Human Trafficking and Child Protection Unit within the Director of Criminal Investigation, and this unit works in coordination with the Border Police Unit and other security agencies to identify and dismantle the trafficking network operating across the border points. In collaboration with the NIS, the NPS conduct intelligence-driven operation to identify and apprehend traffickers and rescue victims from trafficking syndicates. The officers assigned to the border areas receive specialized training to recognize and trafficking patterns, manage victims appropriately, and understand legal procedures in line with the Counter-Trafficking in Person Act. The government is intensifying border checks, increasing vigilance to deter and arrest suspicious individuals involved in the act. The Kenya collaboration with the East African community and international organizations such as International Organization for Migration to implement the cross-border and the trafficking strategies. The authorities are actively mapping out suspected non-gazetted and porous routes used by these cartels, and conduct community sensitization forum like barastas so that the public gets sensitized. And Honorable Speaker, the government is reinforcing collaboration among law enforcement, migration and labor departments to identify and disrupt trafficking operation and networks effectively. The NPS, in conjunction with the Office of the Director of Public Prosecution, is enhancing mechanism for victim protection. These include ensuring clear case reporting procedures and safeguarding victims after they come forward. On the other question, Honorable Speaker, measures taken to address the emerging gaps in combating human trafficking. While the Counter-Trafficking in Person Act 2010 remain a cornerstone of a legal framework, the government is actively reviewing and updating the legislation to address evolving challenges, including the rise of the online child sexual exploitation. And the trafficking innovations are being mainstreamed into the border and national policy framework, and notably the National Plan of Action on Online Child Sexual Exploitation incorporates measures to combat emerging form of trafficking. To strengthen the on-the-ground impact, the government is implementing the National Plan of Action along the National Referral Mechanism, and this framework are designed to enhance coordination and ensure consistent application of anti-trafficking efforts across all levels. The operationalization of the Data Protection Act 2019 will enhance secure ethical collection, sharing, and analysis of data related to human trafficking, enabling better monitoring of the trends and informed decision-making. The ongoing training and capacity building program for the law enforcement agencies, frontline responders, and other key stakeholders remain essential to closing implementation gaps and ensuring effective response to both traditional and emerging form of trafficking. On the third one, Honorable Speaker, the following measures have been taken to safeguard the porous border. Joint investigation teams, operating centers have been set up to facilitate intelligence gathering, information sharing among border control agencies. And this initiative aims to enhance investigative compatibilities and promote effective multi-agency collaboration at key border points. Technological tools such as integrated custom management system, that is ICMS, and biometric systems are being utilized to detect irregular movements and strengthen surveillance at borders. These systems enhance efficiency and improve the ability to identify potential trafficking activities. Targeted training programs have been implemented for border and airline personnel. Notably, the IOM, in partnership with the Kenya Airways, has conducted training to equip staff with the skills needed to identify and assist victims of human trafficking. The border management system has been established at selected border point, transforming them into one-stop shop for the clearance of travelers, goods, and services. The BMS operate under a multi-agency framework, bringing together various government agencies to streamline and coordinate border operations. Lastly, Honorable Speaker, the following safeguards have been established to ensure the safety and well-being of Kenyans seeking employment opportunities abroad. The National Police Service monitors recruitment agencies suspected of engaging in fraudulent or exploitative practices in collaboration with the Ministry of Labor, and they also do frequent inspection to ensure all agencies operate in compliance with established legal and ethical standards. The Labor Migration Desk has been set up at Jomo Kenyatta International Airport and Moi International Airport to support migrant workers by providing guidance and assistance with the pre-departure procedures. And in accordance with the Interpol and Kenya Foreign Mission, the National Police Service plays a critical role in locating and repatriating Kenyans victims of trafficking. Upon their return, victims are supported through reintegrated effort, often in partnership with Ngao and safe shelters. NPS is responsible for instigating an arraignment in court of individuals or entities involved in illegal recruitment practices. And these include cases involving false job promises, confiscation of travel documents, and coercion linking to human trafficking. In collaboration with the key partners, the NPS conduct awareness campaign to educate the public and the warning girls signs of fraudulent recruitment processes and suspicious agency, helping prevent exploitation and trafficking. And of course, Honorable Speaker, the hotline from the DCI, the toll-free number has always been provided so that the victim can report such suspected victims. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Jerry. Honorable Jerry Minor.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. My apologies, Honorable Speaker. When you called me, I was on the other side of the aisle. Honorable Tiende mentioned that there is someone who needs to be disciplined by the Powers and Privilege Committee, which is apparently my new committee since yesterday. And I was soliciting for future suspects and attendees of that committee, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I appreciate the very detailed response by the committee chaired by Honorable Tongoyo, and perhaps, Honorable Speaker, what is missing from his response is whether the government is going to conduct a fresh vetting of all travel agencies, because majority of Kenyans are being exploited by travel agencies as they seek employment opportunities abroad. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Tongoyo, that's as a compliment to your...
Yeah, it is, Honorable Speaker, although in the questions it was not included, but I think it's also not a bad thing to consider.
Can you now respond to Umulher Harun?
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. In regards to the response to
is
the
Umulher
statement...
in the House? Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, the statement being sought by the nominated member, Honorable Harun, regarding the disappearance of one Mr. Abdirizak Mohamed Yale. And in particular, she wanted to know the status of investigation of the disappearance of the said person, measures that the ministry is taking to ensure that the missing person is found and reunited, and generally the measure be taken to apprehend and arraign before the court the perpetrators. Honorable Speaker, I state as follows. On the 30th September 2023, Mr. Aden Ali reported the disappearance of his cousin, Mr. Abdikazak Mohamed Yale, who indicated that he resided in South Sea area in Nairobi County together with two cousins. On the 29th September same year, he left for work in the morning, leaving behind his cousins who were still asleep. Upon returning home later that day, he found that they were not present. He initially assumed that they had gone to a local Islamic religious school located on the Sugura Road, South Sea, where both taught Islamic religion classes. When the two failed to return home that evening, he became concerned and proceeded to make a missing person report at Nairobi West Police Station via OB number 143009 of 2023. The incident was referred to Akila Police Station, and a missing person description and details were circulated in all border points, police stations, and divisions within the country via a signal Rev Z .org 5/2/14 volume 1.1068. Additionally, a request to obtain the call data record of the missing person mobile number was made to the service provider Safaricom to assist in identifying the last contact person that the victim communicated with. From the results, it was established that the victim's phone number was switched off within South Sea area, and the victim had neither called anyone nor received any call on that material day. After the 26 days of her disappearance, the Muhammad Yale returned and stated that on the 29th September, while walking with his brother in Nairobi West area, unknown individuals abducted them by covering their heads with sacks and bundling them into a Probox Matatu motor vehicle, which drove for a short distance before stopping. Then they were then transferred into another vehicle, which took them to another unidentified location where they were reportedly tortured. Ahmed claimed he was later given 1,000 and released at a known location within Nairobi with a stern warning not to disclose the incident, what had happened to him, and to leave Nairobi within 3 days. He took a motorcycle to Isli and eventually found his way back to South Sea. Upon further interrogation, he stated that he did not know the whereabouts of his brother, Abdikadir Muhammad Yale. In compliance with the abductor's instruction, Ahmed left for Garissa 3 days after his return and has remained there to date. He indicated that due to the trauma he experienced, he is unwilling to return to Nairobi. Since the circulation of the missing person signal, no information has ever been received to assist the police in tracing the whereabouts of Adhan Nur Hassan. The case is pending under investigation. And lastly, Honorable Speaker, the case is pending under investigation and the police will update the family of any new development in regards to the whereabouts of Mr. Adhan Nur Hassan. And the last one, so far, no leads to the whereabouts of the missing person and the suspect has been established. The case remains pending under investigation. I submit, Honorable Speaker.
Harun. Hey, boss.
Thank you, Speaker. I also want to thank the chair of the committee. And on behalf of the committee, I appreciate that detailed report. But I'm a bit concerned because I have sat down with the families of Abdirizak Yale. I was actually with the father yesterday, and Ahmed, who was abducted alongside his brother in 2023. And as the report indicated, it's accurate. Ahmed detailed his story back to me, and he was released after 23 days. He was given 1,000 shillings by the police. So if it's already obvious that the police abducted Ahmed and they released him, Ahmed was with the brother, Abdirizak, as well. And Abdirizak is still missing till date. So the report from the committee says that the police are not aware of where Abdirizak is, and I find that a bit unsatisfactory. I wish for the committee to relook into it so that they're able to give a bit of reprieve to this particular family. So, Speaker, I was with that family yesterday, and the father is very distressed, and we really appreciate if the security personnel can give us quick feedback on this matter. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. And as well as I did state in the last paragraph of the statement, it's true that the investigation is still ongoing, and I understand the pain, frustration of the member and, of course, the family. And I want to promise Honorable Speaker, that the police are going to do anything possible to locate the missing person and continuously giving update reports to the family and the concerned member.
Thank you. Thank you. Honorable members, allow me to acknowledge in the Speaker's Gallery, Siana Girls High School from Narok West, Narok, Mariani Primary from Igambangombe, Tarakanithi, and Nyekini Primary School from Kitui, Central Kitui, On my behalf, on behalf of the House, I welcome the students, their teachers, and those accompanying them to the House of Parliament. Next order.
Order number 10, motion. Approval of the mediated version of the Gambling Control Bill, National Assembly Bill number 70 of 2023.
Yes, Kwenya. Are you the one moving this? Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I beg to move that pursuant to provisions of Article 113(2) of the Constitution and Standing Order number 153, this House adopts the report of the Mediated Committee on Gambling Control Bill, National Assembly Bill number 70 of 2023, laid to the table of the House on Tuesday, 1st July 2025, and approves the mediated version of the Gambling Control Bill, National Assembly Bill number 70 of 2023. By the way of introduction, Mr. Speaker, the Gambling Control Bill 2023-62 established a comprehensive legal framework for the regulation of gambling in Kenya, with specific emphasis on incorporating safe gambling principles within the sector. Additionally, the bill seeks to establish the Gambling Regulatory Authority of Kenya, which shall bear the responsibility of licensing and regulating the gambling sector. Honorable Speaker, the National Assembly passed the Gambling Control Bill, National Assembly Bill number 70 of 2023 on 6 December 2023 and forwarded the same to the Senate for concurrence pursuant to the provisions of Standing Orders number 144 and Article 110 of the Constitution. Mr. Speaker, the Senate considered the bill and passed it with amendments on 8th October 2024 and referred it back to the National Assembly for consideration in accordance with Article 112 of the Constitution. The Senate proposed amendments to Clause 5, 7, 10, 11, 28, 31, 64, 66, 69, 71, 79, Clauses 87, 119, 123, and the third schedule. Further, the Senate proposed new clauses 57A, Clause 63A, 66A, 82A, and 117A. Honorable Speaker, the National Assembly considered the Senate amendments to the bill and rejected all the amendments due to contravention with the Constitution principles of origination of bills, as well as need for further amendments to the proposed Senate amendments. Honorable Speaker, pursuant to Standing Order 148B, the National Assembly Standing Orders, the Speaker of the National Assembly conveyed a message to the Speaker of the Senate on the resolution by the National Assembly to reject the bill as amended by the Senate. The Speaker then referred the bill to a mediation committee under Article 113 of the Constitution, and in so doing, appointed 9 members of the National Assembly to the mediation committee to consider the bill. Mr. Speaker, on 19th March 2025, pursuant to Standing Order number 166 of the Senate Standing Orders, the Speaker of the Senate conveyed a message to the National Assembly on the appointment of 9 senators to sit in the mediation committee. Mr. Speaker, pursuant to Article 113 of the Constitution, the mediation committee was required to attempt to develop a version of the bill that both houses would pass. The mediation committee was confined to considering only the clauses under contention, which were the clauses proposed to be amended by the Senate. Honorable Speaker, permit me to give a highlight of the deliberations on the mediation committee, with particular attention to the clauses considered by the committee. The committee reviewed the Senate's proposal to expand county government function in gambling, including developing legislation and issuing licenses. It noted that the bill already addresses the shared regulation by assigning licensing to the National Authority and trade permits to county governments. As a result, the committee retained Clause 5 as originally drafted and recommended amending Clause 2 to clarify or to clearly define a license and trade permit. Honorable Speaker, the committee considered the Senate amendment to Clause 7, which sought to amend the composition of the board of the Gambling Regulatory Authority. The committee resolved to retain the Attorney General's membership in the board, as well as to increase the number of representatives of the Council of the Governors from 1 to 2 persons. The committee noted that these amendments would ensure meaningful representation both by persons who are not public officers and county government representation while maintaining manageable board size that conforms to the recommendations of Mwongozo Code of State Corporations. Honorable Speaker, the committee considered the Senate Amendment Clause 10, which sought to remove licensing from authority involve counties in machine registration, require disclosure of gambling company beneficial owners, as well as establish tax compliance system. The committee resolved to retain licensing as a mandate of the authority, provide for the establishment of registers in both the national and county governments, and provide for due diligence checks on beneficial owners of companies so as to ensure transparency and accountability. Honorable Speaker, the committee considered the Senate amendment to Clause 11, which sought to introduce new subsections providing for the power of Cabinet Secretary to grant or revoke remote platform authorization. The committee resolved that there was need to provide a definition of remote platform authorization in the definition section, as well as to provide that the Cabinet Secretary shall have the power to prescribe guidelines on remote platform authorization. Mr. Speaker, the Honorable Committee considered the Senate Amendment Clause to Clause 28, which sought to remove the power of the authority to issue licenses to key gambling employees and media promotions. The committee resolved that it was necessary to retain these provisions in the bill so as to conform with the international best practices, which provides for the licensing of key gambling employees. The committee considered the Senate amendment to Clause 31, which sought to extend the validity period of gambling licenses from 12 months to 36 months. The committee resolved to increase the validity period of an operating license to ensure ease of doing business and to align the bill with National Lottery Act number 20 of 2023, which provides for 7-year license for annual lottery operator. Honorable Speaker, the committee considered the proposed new clause 57A, 63A, and 66A and 82A, which sought to introduce lottery tax, betting tax, gaming tax, and prize competition tax, respectively. The committee noted that in terms of Article 109, sub-Article 5 of the Constitution, a money bill may be introduced only in the National Assembly. The committee further noted that inasmuch as the bill proposes to repeal the existing betting, Lottery and Gaming Act, Clause 121(6) of the bill provides that the provisions of betting tax, lottery tax, gaming tax, and prize competition tax shall continue to be in force. The committee therefore resolved that the new clauses as proposed by the Senate should not be part of the bill. Honorable Speaker, the committee considered the Senate amendment to Clause 64, which sought to reduce the minimum amount of a single bet in a casino machine from 20 shillings to 1 shilling. The committee noted that the amount of 1 shilling as a minimum bet amount was not practical, noting that this would be seen as an encouragement to gambling, and further noting that the intention of bill was to regulate gambling and so as a social vice. The committee therefore resolved to retain the minimum betting amount of 20 shillings as contained in the bill. The committee further considered the Senate amendment to Clause 66, which sought to provide that in addition to the authority, the county government shall also ensure that their officers are present in casinos for purposes of ensuring compliance. The mediation resolved to retain clause 66 as contained in the bill to ensure that the responsibility for financial reporting and anti-money laundering compliances rest with the national government as provided in law. Honorable Speaker, the committee considered the Senate amendment to clause 69 and which sought to provide that an online gambling transaction shall commence at the time of deposit of money into the gaming account and shall conclude at the time withdrawal of money from a gaming account. The committee resolved to carry amendment as proposed by the Senate, noting that the amendment was in alignment with the provisions of Excise Duty Act Cap 472. Honorable Speaker, the committee considered clause 71, which sought to reduce the penalty for the offense of permitting online gambling for an amount of less than 20 million from above 5 million shillings to 50,000 shillings, to above 50,000 shillings. The committee noted that while a fine of not less than 5 million may be too punitive, a lower limit of 50,000 may be too lenient, given the substantial profits realized in the online gambling sector. The committee therefore resolved to amend the bill to provide for a penalty of 3 million shillings. The committee considered further the amendment of clause 79, which sought to remove the requirement that the foreign gambling operator be licensed in Kenya. They must intend to carry on the online gambling businesses in Kenya, as well as exempt foreign gambling operators from the requirements for licensing at gambling security as contained in the bill. The committee noted that allowing foreign gambling operators to apply for licenses would lead to increased revenue for the authority in the form of license fees paid by the foreign gambling operators, but such gambling operators would be required to comply with the provisions of the Act Cap 486 in relation to the registration of foreign companies. The committee therefore resolved to retain the requirement of gambling security in respect of foreign gambling companies or operators. Honorable Speaker, the committee further considered amendment to clause 87, which sought to remove the restriction of gambling advertisement between 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. unless it is done in a live sporting event. The amendment further sought to reduce the penalty for the offense of contravening the provisions of the advertisement of gambling from 20 million to 1 million shillings and imprisonment from 20 years to 1 year. The committee noted that the objective of the restriction on the hours of gambling advertisement is to discourage gambling, which is a social vice. Removing restriction from the bill would lead to the unregulated advertisement airtime on television, which would subsequently increase the social vice. The committee further noted that the penalty proposed by the Senate for contravention of the gambling advertisement is too low. The committee therefore resolved to retain the provision as contained in the bill. Mr. Speaker, the committee reviewed the Senate's proposed clause 117A to restrict gambling premises operating hours to between 10 p.m. and 5 a.m. The committee found the proposal would not be practical, as online gambling would remain accessible 24 hours, 7 days a week, creating an unfair regulatory environment. Consequently, the committee resolved not to include the clause in the bill. Mr. Speaker, the committee further considered amendment to clause 119 by the Senate, which sought to remove the conduct of the National Lottery and National Lottery rules from among the matters which the Cabinet Secretary shall have power to make regulations. The committee noted that the bill seeks to make the gambling regulatory authority the main regulator of all gambling activities by empowering it to set standards and norms. Therefore, the amendment proposed by the Senate was not necessary. The committee therefore resolved to retain the clause as contained in the bill. Mr. Speaker, the committee considered also clause 123 of the amendment that was proposed by the Senate, which sought to amend the Income Tax Act, the Excise Duty Act, to provide for tax exemptions on gambling activities. The committee noted that Article 109, Sub-Article 5 of the Constitution, provides that a money bill may be introduced only in the National Assembly. Therefore, the amendment proposed by the Senate were in contravention of the constitutional provision. The committee therefore resolved to retain the clause as contained in the bill. The committee considered the Senate amendment to the third schedule, which sought to reduce the security required in respect to online gambling and national lottery from 200 million shillings to 20 million shillings. The committee noted that while the National Assembly provision requiring 200 million shillings and gambling security may be considered too high, the Senate proposed reduction to 20 million shillings would be inadequate given the scale and potential impact of these operations. The committee therefore resolved to amend the bill to provide for the amount of 100 million shillings as gambling security in respect of online gambling and national lottery. Mr. Speaker, as I conclude, permit me to thank the members of the Mediation Committee for their efforts in developing a version of gambling control bill that not only gives effect to the constitutional principles of devolution, but will also lead to the establishment of a comprehensive legal framework to regulate the gambling sector in Kenya. Finally, Honorable Speaker, I urge this House to adopt the report of the mediated committee and approve the mediated version of the gambling control bill as contained in the order paper. I take note that this bill presents a comprehensive and a modernized approach to the regulation of gambling in Kenya. It aims to balance the economic benefits of the industry, which injects the much needed revenue into the country, into the economy, which at the same time, protecting consumers and preventing social harm in our society. The mediated version of the bill is attached to the order paper. I beg to take, Mr. Speaker, I beg to move and take this opportunity to request the Honorable Leader of Majority, the Honorable Kimani Ichung'wah, to second. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you. Honorable members, before the Leader of Majority seconds, allow me to interrupt the business of the House to welcome students that we have in the public gallery this afternoon. St. Paul's Gatinda Primary School from Runyenje's constituency, Embu County, Kiambuthia Secondary School, Mathioya constituency, Murang'a, Ruyobe Primary School from Rongai constituency, Nakuru County, Chungor Comprehensive constituency, Elgeyo Marakwet, and in the Speaker's Gallery still we have Kapsabet Girls High School, Mgwen, Nandi County. And on behalf of all of us, I will give 1 minute to the member, Honorable Didmas Wekesa, whose daughter is a scholar in Kapsabet Girls. A minute to welcome all of them on all of our behalf.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for giving me this opportunity to welcome our students in the National Assembly of Kenya, and most particularly, Honorable Madam Speaker, Kapsabet Girls, where my firstborn daughter is sitting Form 4 this year. And I am not only elated to welcome all the students, but most particularly very happy that my firstborn daughter can now understand where I come every day, why at times I'm absent from home, is because of the call of duty of enacting various laws in our country. And I also take this time, Madam Speaker, to appreciate the teachers of our country who are not only preparing our students to pass the exams, but they are modeling them to be model Kenyans, to be good citizens, so that they can take this country to the next frontier. I take this opportunity on behalf of all the members of Parliament to welcome all of them. Feel free in the National Assembly. I thank you, Madam Speaker.
I was going to say we sit for 3 days in a week, but I welcome all the scholars that are here to observe the proceedings of the House. Leader of Majority, second your motion. Honorable Naisula and Honorable Kororia, that Kamukunji is illegal. Let us hear the Leader of Majority.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I rise to second this motion for approval of the mediated version of the Gambling Control Bill, National Assembly Bill number 70 of 2023. Honorable Speaker, I will not delve into all the specific clauses since the mover of the bill, the Honorable Kenya, has already done that. And on behalf of the Sports Committee and members of the Mediation Committee, Honorable Speaker, allow me first to thank all the members of this House who have sat in that Mediation Committee and those from the other House in the Senate, because it was a painstaking process to be able to agree on many contentious issues, Honorable Speaker, to make sure that we have a Gambling Control Act if this bill is passed today and becomes an act of parliament, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, this bill, when it came to this House, we sent it to the Senate because there were certain provisions that touch on county governments, Honorable Speaker, because the gambling or betting control, Honorable Speaker, is a shared function between the national government and our county governments. And therefore, in line with the fourth schedule of our Constitution, we had to send this bill to the Senate. They amended quite a number of clauses, some that touched on money bill effect, or some clauses that made the bill to have the money bill, some clauses that had a money bill effect. And when they came, we rejected them, and those are some of the issues that occasioned the mediation process. I'm glad that the mediation committee between the two houses was able to agree and removed all the clauses that touched on taxation and anything that had the money bill effect, which in line with our Constitution and our own standing orders and those of the Senate, anything that has a money bill effect, in line with Article 114 of our Constitution, can only be done by the National Assembly and not the Senate. And I must thank the mediation committee, because when they were able to sit together, they were able to agree and remove all the clauses that touched on money bill and those that touched on taxation. And I'm happy, Honorable Speaker, that many of those issues, again, were addressed during the finance bill debate, and we were able to enact many of the provisions that would otherwise have been carried in this bill that had tax measures in the finance bill, which is now the Finance Act of 2025, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, there are also amendments, especially to clause 79, was it 76 or 79 and 74, Honorable Speaker? I will get it shortly, that touch on certain statutory provisions. Honorable Speaker, provisions under clause 79, 82A, and clause 40 and 29 that were being amended by this bill. And Honorable Speaker, some of the provisions touch on statutory provisions that the Senate again had sought to exclude certain companies, especially those that are engaged in online gambling, from statutory provisions. Statutory provisions, Honorable Speaker, some that require that any person who is engaged in gambling business must be domiciled in Kenya, must have a bank account in Kenya under the purview of the Central Bank of Kenya, must deposit security bonds or bank guarantees or an insurance bond to be able to safeguard the interests of the people who are gambling, Honorable Speaker. And some of the measures that Senate had taken was to remove some of those statutory provisions, Honorable Speaker. And I'm happy that during mediation they were able to agree and only allowed the exemption of clause 29A on the question of licensing for online, those who are engaging in the business of online gambling, to allow them not to necessarily have local shareholding, because the exemption was to allow, or rather the law required that any person who is licensed to offer gambling or betting activity under the Act that person must be a body corporate in which a minimum of 30% of shares under this act are either, it must be a body corporate in which a minimum of 30% of the shares are held by Kenyan citizens, Honorable Speaker. And I'm happy, Honorable Speaker, that that particular provision, the mediation committee was able to agree that if you engage in online business, you do not necessarily need to have shareholding, local shareholding, as was required under the Act. And that is the only exemption that the mediation committee has agreed on. Otherwise, Honorable Speaker, the other measures that the Senate had put in exempting people who are doing online gambling from the statutory provisions of having security bonds, bank guarantees, insurance security bonds, those have now been restated. Because, Honorable Speaker, those things are not just there for the sake of having them there. They are there to protect the public. Because it's very easy, Honorable Speaker, for someone doing business online to collect money from Kenyans under the pretext of gambling or betting, then end up paying nothing and walk away with their money. And therefore, it is important that anybody who is licensed is required to deposit a security guarantee, a bank guarantee or an insurance bond that will ensure if you incur any liabilities, the people of Kenya, the betting public, are protected against such liabilities, Honorable Speaker. And I must thank the committee that they were able to agree on some of those otherwise very offensive provisions. And Honorable Speaker, at the time they were in mediation, members will remember the issue that was raised in the country of online gambling and the danger that gambling and betting is taking especially our young people through. And those like Honorable Kahangara and Honorable Tongoyo, who sit in the Security Committee, will tell you that whatever measures BCLB or the Betting and Licensing Control Board is doing are not adequate. And therefore, unless and until we have an operational act of parliament that will ensure that we also discourage our youth from engaging in irresponsible betting and gambling, Honorable Speaker, we risk making our young people believe that you can be rich by engaging in gambling and betting without engaging in any productive economic activity, Honorable Speaker. And Honorable Speaker, those of us who confess the Islam faith will bear me witness that even in their faith, they don't believe in gambling because they believe in hard work. And even in the Christian faith, those of us who are Christians, we believe in people working and earning a living out of productive economic activities, Honorable Speaker. And therefore, we must have laws like this that discourage irresponsible gambling. It is okay to gamble and bet as a pastime, but it cannot be, Honorable Speaker, that every day of your life, all you do is to gamble and bet. It cannot be usual, Honorable Speaker, that many radio stations and TV stations, Honorable Speaker, were free to encourage the public to bet from as early as 5 a.m. There are radio stations that were running programs encouraging Kenyans to bet and gamble. We have seen young children, college students, commit suicide because of betting. They have gambled their money away, their school fees. Some gamble their subsistence allowance from their parents and from the Higher Education Loans Board, and they end up destitute, slip into depression, and end up, Honorable Speaker, some committing suicide. It is these young ones that we must protect. And this particular law will play a critical role in protecting the young people in our country against those who are encouraging them to engage in irresponsible betting and gambling. It will play a critical role in ensuring that our media houses do not irresponsibly encourage people to get into irresponsible gambling by making them believe that you'll become billionaires and millionaires overnight by simply punching numbers on your phone. Because you've seen many of them telling them, you just need to punch numbers and become bonyeza, kanya, finya, and you become a billionaire from gambling. Honorable Speaker, we want to encourage our young people to work. We want to encourage them to become innovative and use their intellect to engage in economic activities that will earn them a living, Honorable Speaker. And the many programs that are being rolled out, from the affordable housing program, Honorable Speaker, to the digital economy jobs, Honorable Speaker, to the Kazi Maju programs, Honorable Speaker, are opportunities where young people can engage in productive economic activities rather than encourage them to get into irresponsible gambling, Honorable Speaker. And therefore, I want to agree with the mover and the proposers of this bill, those who mediated this bill, Honorable Speaker, that this bill, when it becomes an act of parliament, it will provide us with a very good legal framework on the regulation and control of gambling activities in the country. And it will expressly provide for gambling activities that shall be legal in Kenya while prohibiting illegal forms of gambling, Honorable Speaker. Because as I said, there are all manner of gambling, Honorable Speaker. Those that are doing on radio, those that are doing on TV, those that are doing online, some that are domiciled in this country, others that are domiciled outside the country. This bill will be able to tell us what is legally authorized in Kenya, Honorable Speaker. You remember the time there was that debate 2 months or 3 months ago. BCLB told us that they had banned, I think, 330 companies that were engaged in illegal gambling activities, Honorable Speaker. Because it's also not clear, even to authorities in our county governments and law enforcers, which gambling activity is licensed. This bill now makes it clear what gambling activities will be licensed in Kenya. It will also promote and develop a responsible gambling industry in Kenya, Honorable Speaker. Because as I said, this industry is an industry like any other. Like the beer industry, like the cigarette industry. And as harmful as it can be, if done responsibly, it is an industry that can also generate resources for our country and create jobs. And we have many gambling companies that are engaged in responsible gambling that have created jobs for Kenyans in this country, and especially young Kenyans who are very innovative in the tech sector. Many of them are employed as app developers in these online gambling companies, and they're also providing money to the exchequer, Honorable Speaker. And therefore, we want to ensure that we develop that responsible gambling industry in the country, as we minimize on the social harm that irresponsible gambling can afflict in our society, Honorable Speaker. This bill will also ensure that there is integrity in the conduct of licensed gambling activities and provide for the establishment of mechanisms for the resolution of disputes relating to gambling, because there are many disputes, as I said. Part of the reason why this House was opposed to lifting or to the establishment of exemptions to certain statutory provisions is because some are inbuilt in our laws to ensure that if there are disputes, for instance, between a gambling company and those who are gambling, there is a security guarantee or a bank guarantee or an insurance bond that safeguards the money of those who are engaged in this business. Just like those who engage in the insurance business, Honorable Speaker, have to have a deposit, a security bond guarantee or a bank guarantee to ensure that those who underwrite insurance covers for them are compensated should that company come down. Those who are in the banking industry, the same. Therefore, because this is also a very fluid industry, in terms of liquidity, we must ensure that if you take money from members of the public, you have also deposited a bank guarantee or insurance bond that will secure the interests of the public, Honorable Speaker. Because had we not done that, Honorable Speaker, and fallen to the temptation of what had been done in the Senate, then would be leaders who are encouraging a very irresponsible culture in our country, one where you can come collect money from Kenyans, and after 2 days you close down, raise money online from Kenyans through pretentious gambling and betting activities, and close shop and take off with people's money. It will now not be possible to do that with this law in the mediated format that is in. And therefore, Honorable Speaker, with those many remarks, I want to plead with members to support this mediated version. Is a product of a give and take between us and the Senate, and we have made sure that we have a law that now protects the public and encourages responsible gambling and betting in our country, while also protecting the resources that we're able to raise nationally in terms of revenue from taxation of the companies that are engaged in gambling, even as we discourage the illegal gambling and irresponsible betting and gambling that we have seen in the past. And therefore beg to second and urge members to support this bill. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Very well. I therefore propose the question that pursuant to the provisions of Article 113(2) of the Constitution and Standing Order 153, this House adopts the report of the Mediation Committee on the Gambling Control Bill, National Assembly Bill number 70 of 2023, laid on the table of the House on Tuesday, 1st July 2025, and approves the mediated version of the Gambling Control Bill, National Assembly number 70 of 2023. Honorable members, before I give any... What is out of order, Majority Leader?
Honorable Speaker, the Honorable Irene Kasalu, yesterday when you were on your feet, she was walking out of the chamber. Again today, Honorable Speaker, when you were on your feet, the Honorable Irene Kasalu again was walking out of the chamber.
I think we will need some refresher course for
At least today she was able to freeze when we raised it, Honorable Speaker. But just to advise Honorable Irene Kasalu that when the Speaker is on her feet, please remain in your position or freeze at the point where you are.
Honorable Kasalu, you also don't have to freeze when the Majority Leader is on his feet.
It is also okay to freeze when the Majority Leader is on his feet.
Honorable members, before I indulge members, allow me to recognize we will keep doing this because of the number of children that we are receiving in this plenary. In the public gallery, we have Sitotuo Primary School and JSS from Keio South constituency, Elgeyo Marakwet. We have Kamakabi Primary School from Tharaka constituency, Tharaka Nithi County. We have the Christ the King Academy from Kajiado Central, Kajiado County. On all of your behalves and of the House, we welcome them to observe the proceedings of the House. Before I indulge members, Honorable Leader of Majority has reacted to a few discussions that have been there. You remember yours truly had requested a statement on this betting problem, and we still haven't gotten the full report, but I hope this bill will be able to address most of those issues, because BCLB reacted by withdrawing the adverts and they have crept back because it was a reaction, then now it has gone quiet. So I will indulge members. I know there are some who want to put the question. Who want me to put the question? I will give Honorable Oundo and close the debate.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for this opportunity. Allow me also to thank and congratulate the Mediation Committee for successfully shepherding the process. Honorable Speaker, as required under the Constitution of Kenya, Article 113, that whenever a bill originates from head of the House and the head of the House makes amendment, the next House makes amendment, then we have, if the amendments are not acceptable to head of the House, we have to go to a mediation process. Honorable Speaker, because this entirely what was respected in the Constitution, and I must commend the spirit that prevailed during this mediation process, because many times this mediation process have always ended up with a stalemate due to some supremacy, a rivalry that are petty and unnecessary. Honorable Speaker, as I stand to second this gambling control bill, I do so with a very heavy heart. Heavy heart in the sense, as a Christian and as a human being, I find gambling a distasteful activity. I find a gambling a very, very bad activity. But Honorable Speaker, we find ourselves in a hard rock, between a hard rock and whatever place it is, that we must find a way of bringing the sins that are likely to happen, that are happening, in some kind of ambit of control, so that we can monitor the sinners, we can monitor the sponsors of the sinners, and we can monitor the outcome of the sins. Honorable Speaker, the Bible never contemplated gambling. The African tradition, they never contemplated gambling. Our Muslim brothers do not even allow it at all. But we face a reality that our young men, our young women, and some even lazy, deranged old men of my age still participate in gambling. Honorable Speaker, there was in African tradition some form of betting. And our betting, Honorable Speaker, you might not understand because you are fairly young, involved a very complicated traditional way of doing it. We would put our two separate fingers and then we hit in between here and we bet who will win a fight, who will win the right to dance with the most beautiful girl in a party. That never involved any monetary. It was not addictive. It was just a way of entertainment. Over time, Honorable Speaker, as the majority leader has said, there are a category of people in this country that have made gambling and betting a career, have made gambling and betting as a job, have made betting and gambling some kind of a way, so to speak, Honorable Speaker, actually to launder illicitly acquired money. So I just hope and pray that the provisions of this bill, once it's assented by the President, becomes an act, and the attendant regulations, Honorable Speaker, will address this particular challenge. Honorable Speaker, it's now becoming, you would go for a football match, be it the mighty Arsenal playing a small team called Manchester United, that you find 90% of the people who are watching or who are living in a hall, in a club, purporting to watch the match, are not soccer fans, but they're investors waiting to know which team will win so that they have a huge bet. Honorable Speaker, we must find a way to discourage this behavior. And I just hope and pray the county governments will be very dexterous, will be very careful when they license any form of machines or halls, Honorable Speaker, that allows betting and gambling. Honorable Speaker, you go to many small urban centers in this country, 90% of the commercial spaces, so small halls, have got those gambling machines. School children leave school to go and gamble. There is a notorious place, Honorable Speaker, in my constituency called Amboboto Center, where boys and girls from nearby schools leave home at 5 a.m. in the morning, purporting to go to school, and known to the parents, they put on civilian clothes inside their school uniform. So once they approach the school compound, they remove those clothes, put them into their bags, and enter into those gambling dens. And how do they make the money, Honorable Speaker? They steal their parents' chicken, they steal the small items at home to go and gamble. Many of them, Honorable Speaker, even when they are given money for tuition, that's the kind of money, Honorable Speaker, they used to gamble. Honorable Speaker, as I stand here, I have a friend of mine, a very close friend of mine. He's a second-year boy at a certain university, I don't want to name it, to preserve his privacy, was given money by the father to do some work. The father does some work, clearing and forwarding. Honorable Speaker, the boy spent all the 150,000 on a theater, and it just disappeared that way. The boy had to disappear. Up to now, nobody knows where he is. He is purporting to borrow some money from friends. He can invest more in gambling, hoping that he will win, so that he can get some money. Honorable Speaker, it is immoral, to be honest, for you to entice people. Another form of gambling is these cards, poker cards. And in many places they are played in the bush
or in some kind of hideouts where money keeps on changing and money is getting lost. We must rein in on this illegal gambling. It is addictive, it's a social vice that is mostly destroying our boys and girls. Honorable Speaker, the boys and girls need to have time. The young men who have finished school, who have finished university, need to focus on looking for jobs, need to focus on entrepreneurship, not focus on gambling to an extent that are unable to undertake other services or other activities that they're supposed to undertake as provided for in the Bible when God told Eve and Adam to go and fill this world. Honorable Speaker, we just hope and we pray that the regulatory authority, which is going to call Gambling Regulatory Authority of Kenya, is not going to be another authority steeped in corruption and ethical practices to continuously allow this divisive or bad, devious habit to fester and become entrenched in this country. With these few remarks, Honorable Speaker, I reluctantly support so that we can bring the devil under the watch of the Almighty God. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Honorable Elachi.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I also rise to support just so that we get a law in the country to work. But honestly speaking, in my consciousness, I find it very sad that you can put 20 shillings. All you have said is any child in the Kijiji, in Kawangware, can find him or herself in a gambling place. Taken money for the mother that was for bread or anything and gamble. Madam Speaker, the most sad part and the most risky part of gambling addiction, especially in children below 20, is that the development, particularly of your prefrontal cortex, of your brain, that is used to give you the mind of decision making, deteriorates completely. And that child after that, Madam Speaker, will find themselves in challenges many years. And Madam Speaker, in Kenya, I think we are the ones with a very, very high rate of allowing our children to gamble. And to make it worse, it is children of Christians. Because the Muslims, I want to salute them wherever they are today. Thank you for protecting your children. For us Christians, we have gone mad, starting from the top, Madam Speaker. Because, and I'm hoping the President will sign but return this with some few written memorandum that we need to change a few things here, Madam Speaker. So that first of all, a player in an online gambling activity, it shall not be bet on amount of less than. Now what is 20 shillings, Madam Speaker? It should be 50, so that we remove the young people from there. Because getting 50 will be a bit hard. And Madam Speaker, it's like these people are so powerful that they can convince government until a bill can be sized into what they want. It is wrong. These are the things we were saying. It is wrong in what we are doing to our young people. Madam Speaker, the other thing is depression. When a young person loses, first of all, he gets into anxiety. He tries and gets into a secrecy thinking, oh, next time I can win and I can win. And he continues losing. The next thing, he's in depression. The next thing, he's in a suicidal ideation, which is the most sad thing. And many have died because of that. And now we are here again. We have said we have mediated. This is a bill, Madam Speaker, that should come back with the statement you asked, that we can amend a few things here without joking, especially as mothers, without joking with our children. Madam Speaker, then the other thing is it's a financial literacy. That management, this child learning management of finances for the future is so low. In fact, I doubt whether it will even be there. Because you are used to patapotea. You are used to just ensuring I can pick from here, and then the devil lies to you that you have gotten from 20, you have 200. Now you get excited, you move on, until by the age of 40, you are still thinking that is the way of life. It is not the way of life. It is a lie in life. But this is what we have made our country to be. And so God forbid and God help Christians. Because many things that our children are going through and suffering are Christian children. And so for me, Madam Speaker, today, while I can see now we've created the authority, we've brought in an authority, Madam Speaker. Then we have brought in the tribunal. Haven't we created more spaces of corruption? Now even the ones who we want to close from this gambling, we have given them space to gamble well. Because they will just be running to the tribunal, running where you just give money and you continue. This is what I want to tell my president today. You're a president who believes in the Bible. And you know what is good and what is bad for a country, and especially for the young, a generation that we have to raise. I want to plead with you, my president. This bill we are passing for gambling will not affect our Muslim brothers and sisters. Their Quran is clear. This is wrong to do, and therefore they follow. It is coming to affect us and our children. I plead, we need to put an age limit on gambling in Kenya. Just the same way we've put an age limit in alcohol. That age limit, 21, should go to gambling also. And also ensure the price, the gambling fee is not 20 bob, but at least 25, 50 shillings, 30. Better. That way, even people will see we are very serious in ensuring young children are unable to gamble, Madam Speaker. With those few remarks, Madam Speaker, I beg to support.
Very well. Honorable James Nikau, member for Seme.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, gambling is a bad thing. But we put laws to regulate bad things. So on that basis, I'll actually support it. That is why we need the law to control gambling. But I support it for one main reason, that the committee has attempted to look at areas where we have problems, like the effect on tax, the effect on money bill, the statutory provisions of who own it, and that they must be locally based, that the shares must be local, and very importantly, Madam Speaker, that in online gambling, we have put that there has to be security guarantees. I think that is important. Madam Speaker, but the biggest problem we really have with this, as we'll support it, is the effect it has on young people. Gambling is addictive exactly like any other drug. The impact on the mind is exactly the same as other drugs. And worse still, when it has had an impact on you, it drives people directly to use of drugs. Therefore, we really have to look at that. And Madam Speaker, the other one is the issue of media houses. Media houses are very powerful tools on shaping the perception in public, on public education, and changing the conduct and the beliefs of the public. And their job is public education. If now they also are allowed to get into gambling, that's a problem. At least the committee has looked at that. Now, Speaker, I'll support, but I think we need to amend this in 6 months in just 2 areas. We must put an age limit to gambling and put the sanction on the operators who allow young people to gamble. And 2, put a limit onto how much you can actually put in gambling so that we actually try to cut it away from young people. With that, Madam Speaker, I support.
Honorable Naisula. not in the House. I will therefore, because there is no more interest on this, I don't have you on my record. Where are your cards? I don't have any other person apart from Naisula on my screen. What is happening? Honorable Zamzam.
Asante sana Mheshimiwa Spika, na mimi niweze kuzungumzia kwa mswada huu ambao umeletwa kuweza kuregulate kamari. Mheshimiwa Spika, Mheshimiwa Spika, mimi nataka niweze kumsupport ndugu yangu Kimani Ichung'wah kwa yale ambayo amezungumza leo katika bunge hili. Mheshimiwa Spika, kamari hata katika vitabu vyetu vya dini zote, nimeona ni katika vitabu vyote vinakataza kucheza kamari, ni haramu. Lakini pia Mheshimiwa Spika, tumeona maisha ya watoto wetu, hasa hawa watoto wetu wa shule, maisha yao inaenda ikiharibika. Watoto wamekuwa wezi, mtoto anaingia kwa nyumba, anaiba 100, anaiba 200 ya mama, anaenda kucheza kamari. Mheshimiwa Spika, tumeona watoto wanabet mpaka hizi mambo ya mpira, na niweze kumwelezea Mheshimiwa Undo kuwa Manchester sio timu ndogo. Kwanza inatupa ari sana ndani ya Mombasa, tuna watoto wetu ambao wanacheza mpira. Manchester sio timu ndogo, niweze kumrekebisha. Pengine Arsenal ndio timu ndogo. Lakini Mheshimiwa Spika, nikirudi kwenye kamari, watoto wetu wanaingia kwenye betting za mpira. Unaona mtoto yuko na visimu ama amekimbia kando kwa jirani. Hata vitabu pia hawawezi kushika kusoma vitabu. Mheshimiwa Spika, na imeharibu jamii. Mpaka sasa vijana wetu badala ya kuingia kujifunza mambo ya skills ili kijana aweze kupata ujuzi wa kuweza kujisaidia na kujiajiri mwenyewe, unapata ameshika sana mambo ya betting. Watoto wanabeti, wamekuwa wajanja, wamekuwa wakora, serikali ama nchi inaharibika kwa sababu ya mambo ya betting. Mheshimiwa Spika, na ndio maana nasema sheria kali iwekwe. Mimi kama Muislamu ningeweza kusema ipingwe kabisa kama vile Qur'ani inavyosema, lakini kitu ambacho nitasema Mheshimiwa Spika, betting ni mbaya, imeharibu maisha ya watoto. Watoto wamekuwa wezi, watoto wamekuwa wavivu, vijana wamekuwa wavivu, hawataki hata kujifunza ujuzi kuweza kutengeza mapeni. Mheshimiwa Spika, kwa mfano kama vijana wanaweza wakashikana wakiingia wakafanya mambo ya interior design, wakafanya mambo ya mechanics, wakafanya mambo ya ujenzi. Saa hii kuna mambo mengi yanaendelea sana na real estate. Watoto wanaweza kupata ajira, lakini wengi wamejitwika uvivu. Watoto wanaingia mambo ya betting kuweza kupata pesa ya haraka. Na hata hao walioleta betting sijui walifikiria nini, kwa sababu mimi na uhakika watoto wao hawachezi huu mchezo. Wameweza kuwazuia. Ni kama vile tunaona masimu za rununu. Yule ambaye ameweza kutengeza watoto wake wenyewe ameweza kukiri kwenye public kuwa watoto wake hawana simu ya rununu, lakini watoto wa wenzake ndio wanatumia. Unapata kila wakati mtoto ana scroll, hana time ya kushika vitabu, hana muda wa kushika vitabu kuweza kusoma. Watoto wameharibika, dunia sijui inaenda wapi. Mheshimiwa Spika, ingekuwa ni uwezo wangu mimi Mama Zamzam, ningeweza kupinga kabisa hata ifutiliwe mbali katika taifa hili. Mheshimiwa Spika, watu watafute biashara zingine za kufanya kando na kuingia katika mchezo wa kamari. Nipata potea, mnaibia wa Kenya tukiona hivi. Alafu siku hizi wameweka katika ma radio stations, wameweka katika matelevisheni, mchana peupe wanaweza kuadvertise, watoto wanaangalia, pika box, sijui fanya nini, yote hiyo ni kamari. Mheshimiwa Spika, mimi ningeomba kwanza itolewe katika matangazo ya matelevisheni na maredio. Mwenye kutaka kufanya betting iwe umri fulani ambao anaweza kuwekewa. Japokuwa mimi hata umri wa mume wangu siwezi kubali aende kufanya betting. Mheshimiwa Spika, hiyo ni kupoteza mali, ndani ya nyumba, na ni kujitwika uvivu ndani ya nyumba. Kwa hiyo Mheshimiwa Spika, kwa sababu ya wanafunzi wetu, watoto wa shule na wale ambao bado wako kwenye college, mimi naomba hii sheria iweze kupitishwa ili tuweze kuregulate, tuangalie tunaweza kuprotect vipi jamii yetu na watoto wetu. Mheshimiwa Spika, kwa hayo machache, asante sana Mheshimiwa Spika.
Mover to reply.
Thank you, Speaker, for this opportunity. I wish in a very special way first to thank all the members who have contributed to this special motion on mediated version of the gambling bill. And Madam Speaker, as you realize, many members have quite enriching proposals, And because legislation is a work in progress and is continuous, given the emerging trends and issues, they have an opportunity in 6 months maybe to bring an amendment and maybe to follow through the relevant ministry while they'll be doing the regulations. Madam Speaker, I beg to reply and request putting of the question to be deferred pursuant to the provision of Standing Order number 53. I thank you, Speaker.
Very well, we shall defer the putting of the question as requested by the mover. Next order.
Order number 11, Committee of the Whole House.
Order, members.
Order, members. Those who wish to participate in this Committee of the Whole House, you may take your